The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Well, there was some fireworks this week as it pertains to the election, although following the malpractice media, you would think it was really nothing to do about nothing, but we can't really consider the malpractice media anything but uncredible. So Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and the team over there at the Trump campaign and his lawyers had a press conference, which I'm sure many of you are already aware of. We are making it available on our website at today's Daily Brew and in the show notes. So I would play you some of these clips, but from what I can tell, the masters of the universe, the ones that control social media, are starting to, affect these channels that use this. So I'm going to not actually play the clips, but talk about them. They are claiming they have literally thousands, from my understanding, of affidavits from different people from all over the country in all these various states that had Donald Trump in the lead, and all of a sudden they shut down, and then Biden was all of a sudden winning when they reinitiated the count for some, even though they weren't counting. They also allege that these Dominion voting, the software that goes along with the smart whatever, there's so many names running around. I'm still trying to get a grasp on it. And they're alleging that this Dominion software could change votes, and as you look into their manual, you can see that it's a feature as part of this software program, where people can just go in if they have a code, if they have high enough authority, and then go in there and change notes. We also know that there were executives from these companies in question on location in places like Detroit to make sure the voting went as it should have went. We don't know if that meant that it was going to be done accurately and properly, especially when we take into consideration that Donald Trump had a massive lead in Detroit or in Michigan up until they shut it down. They said they had all the votes in, and all of a sudden they miraculously found thousands and thousands and thousands of votes, all pertaining to voting for just one person, Joe Biden, which then all of a sudden push it over the limits for the Bidenster, and the Trumpster is left having to deal with this in court. They have actual signed affidavits, ladies and gentlemen. That means if you're lying under this, you can face perjury charges, which is, according to my understanding, up to 5 years in prison. So these people that are signing these affidavits know that they could go to jail if they are found to be lying. Now here's the rub. In all these cities where the Democrats pretty much hold a pretty rock-solid, firm grip on the electoral process, the election process is probably a better way to put it, all the challenges being made by not only the Trump campaign, because a lot of them, if you look at the plaintiff, aren't Trump campaign related at all. They are individuals filing lawsuits because for whatever reason they have their lawsuits. Giuliani read from a affidavit, even gave you the person's name. They're living in fear now, apparently. They have many, many more according to them. According to them. Now, we have to wait to see how this all plays out, and we have time, ladies and gentlemen, because we still are weeks away from the Electoral College placing their votes. So there's no rush to this, and why shouldn't we take a look at the election process to make sure that it is all running according to, well, the fairness of the American system. And there's not something nefarious going on. Just 2 election cycles ago, which was the last presidential election cycle, there were claims that Russia interfered at an enormous level, affecting the election, according to some. But all of a sudden, that, let me remind you, would have been under the Obama presidency. All this election hacking happened. Now under the Trump administration, it's all fine and dandy in all these cities, in all these counties. The election went great. Do you believe that, ladies and gentlemen? Do you believe in 2016 the Russians interfered with the elections while Barack Obama was in charge of all that? And then just 4 small years later, while Donald Trump was busy fighting off every attack he could, he had time to fix the election process to make sure that there was no foreign entanglements in our election. We already know with the Dominion software that not only was Canada involved, but the votes were counted back in Germany. Now, how could that be? We've had even Democrats, like Elizabeth Warren, claim that the Dominion software was a problem in future elections. But now, all of a sudden, it's fine and dandy because Trump lost. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the AP has declared Joe Biden the winner. The AP is nothing but a press organization, and at this point, you could consider them more tabloid than news. In fact, CNN is tabloid, Fox is tabloid. Practically every mainstream malpractice media source has become a tabloid of one form or another. Yet, they like to portray themselves as if they are above it all and they are the end-all be-all in everything, including fact-checking, which if you check some of the facts that they fact-check, you know that they're not giving you the full story. Or they omit certain parts of it, or they, like on Facebook and others, they will find one little thing wrong with the video, omitting everything else that was accurate because the author didn't watch how they crafted their words. And then you get the little, this video contains false advertising or false information. Fake news, right? Fake news. What we're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, because as I've said in the past, I want to get to the bottom of this election interference problem that we have in this country. Because otherwise, I'm never voting again. And I'm telling you, I'm more politically conscious than most people who voted in this past election. And I refrained from voting for the presidential position. I couldn't do it. Because I had fears. They were telling us for how long? It's almost like I'm repeating myself, ladies and gentlemen, but they were telling us from, May, June, I don't know exactly when, that there was going to be problems with the election. Things were going to go a little differently this year. And why all of a sudden did we have to change up how we brought in mail-in voting, how we dealt with it, in a year that we needed an election to run as smooth as possible? Of course, the Democrat side and the malpractice media are saying the election ran perfectly under Donald Trump. The man who apparently couldn't get anything right fixed the election? Is that what you're saying, malpractice media? You at Fox News, you at CNN, you at MSNBC, NBC, ABC. That's what you're saying. Donald Trump was so awesome that he fixed all the problems with foreign entanglements in our election. And because Joe Biden won, that is proof positive that Donald Trump did a great job. Well, hell, why don't you give him a little credit then? Why don't you give him a little credit for setting up such a great election process? We know, and you know, and the people watching here that know, we know that it's all a sham. The election process has been tainted for many, many years. And it's all come to a head. And here we have Donald Trump, who I do not want to support in any way possible. Looks like the guy, once again, is the only one willing to stand up with his team, his little team of Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, and others. Some people have left because of threats to their well-being and their families and their careers. That is America, ladies and gentlemen. And those people who always claim Donald Trump is the Hitler, he has never once pushed his supporters to do such a thing. Never once. But yet, everybody on the left will get behind the cancel culture when it comes to people like, well, Donald Trump. And that's what's happening to Donald Trump right now. They are in a worldwide version of cancel culture against the man who was the president who you elected, ladies and gentlemen. You elected him to go in there and drain the swamp and clean it out. And I'm not behind the guy, but it sure looks like the dude is doing something because everybody's against him. He must be on to something. And this, whether he waited too long or not, and I'm not sure, because it puts the country in a real serious situation. Half the country is not going to believe the results of the election, or if enough evidence is dropped in court to shake the foundations of our election process, maybe our political system. And I'm hoping for that. I am hoping Donald Trump is Black Widow and Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And we're going to see Donald Trump unleash everything of Hydra. I would love it. Donald, please, Mr. President, whether you're staying in or not, unleash all the secret stuff. Put it all out there. Just unleash it all. Make what you have time. You have almost 2 months, almost 2 full months to just unleash all the secret documents. Let us know what you guys know, and you never want to tell us because it's too bad. We want to find out. Rip it all down as far as the corruption. Not burn down the Constitution, not burn down the country, but rip down the corruption. And Mr. Trump, right now you have about 2 months left because what they're trying to do is cancel you. You won the election. I believe that. I don't have to be told that by you or anybody else. I have been through enough elections to know when something really weird happens. And what happened this election was the strangest, most dastardly thing, and we told you. We told you the night of the election that something was going on, and then the day after, when we started figuring out what was all transpiring, we told you it was rigged. We talked about it on our Facebook to much chagrin of a lot of people. We pointed out that the Michigan website had Donald Trump in the lead the day after, but they didn't call it. Of course, it was an unofficial one, but they hadn't updated. They updated the site the day after the election, but it was unofficial. So we can't count that. All this other circumstantial evidence, and I told you that there was some kind of scamming going on. Then we saw the election officials being corralled into little rooms, and then paper and cardboard being put around the window so they can't see what's going on during the so-called counting of votes. People, even Democrats, are stepping forward. According to Giuliani, we got to wait to see what happens there. There's no doubt. We have to wait to see what happens. We can't go on just a bunch of speculation, but we better not see it in the malpractice media. The malpractice media better not be speculating right now or saying it's false or anything, because they don't know what kind of cards the Trump has. And he might be ready to trump them, because if there's one thing I've known from about half the way into Donald Trump's presidency, is you don't underestimate the guy, and he has a card in his back pocket for everything. And when you throw stuff at him, he knows how to deflect it. We got to take a quick break, folks. More on the other side. Stick around. We're even going to talk about the Banger Music Awards a little later. Be right back.
Hey, Uncle Shady, where are they going? Hey, you, get back here. The John Lebang Show will be right back. Are you in need of commercial or residential window cleaning? Do you need your office cleaned? Maybe custodial work? How about some gutter cleaning? If you do, then call Pane in the Glass. For a beautiful shine that's crystal clear, call Pane and the Glass. You can find them on Facebook at Pane and the Glass. You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's better than an eye-brainer convention.
Also, this week, we had a general, excuse me for my throat there. I've been busting a lot of tail lately with the music awards and everything else, that lacking on sleep a little bit. But this general that I'm speaking of is in charge of the logistics of Operation Warp Speed, and he said this week that on any given order by the president, which could be Donald Trump or, God forbid, in what's trying to be shoved down our throat, in the ultimate cancel culture attack, Joe Biden. Now, if you're afraid of Donald Trump giving the power to the military to go around and vaccinate whoever, or to do the logistic aspect of the Operation Warp Speed, because I know I had some friends poo-poo me right away when I sent him the video, and he says, "This is for everyone." I'm paraphrasing. Everybody's going to get it. No, I don't know how he put it. No one's not going to get it, or something like that. But the point being, I had friends go, they can't do it. They can't do it overnight. They have, according to some reports, up to 40 million doses going to be ready real soon. In fact, a friend of mine sent me a link which shows that the initial first shots will be ready around December 13th, but most likely around the 21st of December. We've been talking about 12/21 coming down, and look what's happening. But regardless of that fact, we know Moderna was given an order for 500 million doses. They got the contract from the government. You remember reading that in our Daily Brews back in August. And I know I should make those a little more readily available. Been a little lazy when it's come to the Daily Brew because of the music awards. We're slammed here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm surprised I even get a show in. As you can see, I don't even dress my hair back. We're having the chill look while the music awards are going on. But Moderna was given a contract for 500 million. We're expecting 40 million between Pfizer and Moderna, somewhere between December 13th and Christmas, give or take. 12/21. Did you know, by the way, on a side note, Jesus Christ died at the age of 33, according to legend, to the Bible. Funny how 12/21 equals 33. Just strange coincidences in numbers. So I had friends poo-poo me about that, and it would be very difficult to get it all out to everybody. But what they need to do is, as you heard him speak, they're going to get it out to a targeted recipient. Well, who would that be? Apparently the most vulnerable, old people. They're going to determine who the old people are. They're probably going to give you a call right before they have the shot ready and say, hey, you've been selected to get the roll up your sleever, as Bubba would say. Get that little poke in the arm. You've been selected for that. Come on down. You're the next contestant in. Take your shot. And then if you don't get it, if you don't do it, they'll say you only have 24 hours or whatever, and they'll pass it on to somebody else. But then there's a bunch of other doses ready to go too. Who would that be for? Just regular volunteers? Because before any mandatory vaccination would have to take place, and this is where my friends are missing it a little bit, they're going to get everybody who wants to be a volunteer for it. That's the easy thing, because there's a lot of people you've scared to death with the boogie woogie. And they're going to go do anything you tell them. They're so obsessed with the boogie woogie, they're allowing people to stick Q-tips all the way to the back of their nasal passages just to find out if they've had the boogie woogie. Now, if you've watched some videos on YouTube and others, people actually reading, because you got to sign for this stuff, right? If you actually read and what it covers, you start to realize that it just doesn't cover the current boogie woogie. But there are apparently other boogie woogies that have been here in the past, and we've all probably had them at one point or another. And apparently it detects those as well. That's according to some videos that were floating around on YouTube. You can search them out if you want. But it's interesting that they want everybody to get tested. Now, the number of people that have it are going up. Of course, the deaths aren't skyrocketing that way. Has nothing to do with more people being scared into taking tests. But hey, now you got all the people who volunteered and the most vulnerable vaccinated, while the other vaccines are being created to save the people. All of a sudden you're going to see something like employers demanding that their employees get the vaccination so they can run business without worry. So the government is not going to have to officially mandate it, just like the mask thing. You don't have to mandate it now because all the businesses are doing it. So all you have to do is get them to think one way, scare them into it, and then you can let the business handle the dictatorial powers. And that gives you plausible deniability of any tyrannical movement you've made as a government. You let the businesses do it. And they're going to do it because from their eyes, they got to make money. And they got to make money one way or the other. And if that means all their employees must be vaccinated, this is just like the mandatory drug tests that all these companies have jumped on board with over the past 20 years. You got to get drug tested. Why? Because it's a thing. Doesn't mean you're actually on drugs at that moment, especially like the weed test. You can have pot in your system for 30 days. You can be straight for 30 days and fail a weed test. But then you can't get a job. Well, that's what's going to happen with the coronavirus test, the boogie woogie tester. You're going to be mandated by your business or the business that you work at to get the vaccination so they can run normal operations. So everything can go back to normal. Except, folks, getting the shot means nothing will go back to normal. Especially since now we're reading that in these shots there's some RNA changing material in it. These are the first of its kind in the history of the world. They're going to fix you at a DNA level and change you to be, well, protected from a virus that apparently mutated from viruses that we've had prior that have never caused this kind of wave of trouble in the history. Their answer is a vaccine. Their answer is to keep you home. Their answer is a mask. And with all their answers, still nothing is better. Still nothing is getting better. It's getting worse. Why should we listen to any of these so-called experts who have, from the very beginning, gotten everything wrong, or they purposely led us in the wrong direction? You can take whatever viewpoint you want, but you can't take the viewpoint that they've done such a great job and they've saved us from everything because, well, we wouldn't have to be going through the beginnings of a second lockdown if they did such a wonderful job. And you're going to get people who are going to blame the minuscule amount of people who didn't wear masks. That's their fault, right? It's always their fault. It can't be that your government is lying to you or manipulating you or twisting the facts to do what a guy named Rahm Emanuel once said. Do you remember that guy, Rahm Emanuel? Never let a good crisis go to waste. And if you can gin up a crisis, all the better. And since we know Event 201 happened, and we know the Transition Integrity Project is a thing, it is safe to assume that they have war gamed this whole thing out. They've planned for it. One could even say they set it in motion to allow them to take advantage of a crisis. And while we're in a crisis, they can do whatever they want, like pass a $6.3 trillion package, tell you back in August they're going to give you some more money because they know you're broke. Yet, you haven't seen a dime. You haven't seen a dime. And from what I hear from a lot of people, those promises of extra money, well, that ain't here either. The government apparently owes people some tens of thousands of dollars that they had promised them. And you're going to trust them? You're going to trust them that they're telling you the correct thing? They're not manipulating you? They're not propagandizing you, especially after the modernization of the Smith-Mundt Act? You hear a lot of people talking that it was repealed, or no, it was changed. It was modernized. Go look it up. They can now use propaganda on you ever since 2012. And what do you think everything from there on was? Russian collusion. That was propaganda. That was to get you to hate Russia, to get you to hate Trump. Fake news. That was more propaganda. Everything has become propaganda to push one thing or another. And what we're seeing with the current presidential election, which is following right along with the Transition Integrity Project. Just as the corona boogie woogie virus epidemic has followed along with Event 201. We're being manipulated. We're being directed because they have an objective. And whatever it is, and many of us have theories. Whatever it is, it's never good for us little people. And we better wake up to the fact that it doesn't matter, Donald Trump, the Democrats, the malpractice media, social media, corporations, they're all working against the little people. It's always the little people that are going to be made to suffer, whether you pay higher taxes, more at the gas tank, more in what the cost of foods and other commodities might be. we've all seen, outside of the gas, we've all seen the rise in all that. I was going to say some more, but we're up against our next break, folks, so stay tuned. We've got a whole nother 30 minutes for you to just slam in your face. Hopefully, you're ready. We'll be right back.
Don't move a muscle.
The John Lebang Show will be right back.
With lots of fun and excitement. Yes!
Jim's Tuxedo and Menswear is your one-stop shop for tuxedos and men's quality suits. We go the extra mile to make sure your tux or suit is the perfect fit. Our huge selection is second to none in the state.
Looking good.
Outstanding customer service.
And we're located on Dix Toledo in Southgate. Call today, 734-285-3253.
Jim's Tuxedo and Menswear is the place to be.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming to Jim's Tuxedos and Menswear.
You know I had to come to the best.
That's right.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
If you want to contact the John Lebang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John Lebang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John Lebang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
Banger Music Awards have been going really well. We're already beginning our third round of the Battle of the Jams. That's pretty incredible, actually. It feels like it just started, and we're already to where, well, it's the last round of the Battle of the Jams, which means the 5 remaining winners who advance from here will go to the Banger Music Awards, and we'll announce all the nominees right there around December 1st. I actually looked at the calendar, and it might actually happen like November 30th, because how everything falls, it'll be a day early. We'll start voting December 1st for sure, but the bands will have a day to get notified and get ready to go. It'll be great for everybody to get going there. Now, as far as things going on the promotional side, we are bands. You've been doing a great job. Most of you have been doing a really great job. We're about at 25,000 people we've gotten to so far. Not bad. The website is rocking at last year's pace, and you know it's a little different. We should be a little lower than last year because how we spread out the voting. But we're right at last year's pace, which means once we unleash the ballot, we should be cranking where you, the bands, are going to be in front of, you're already in front of thousands of people right now that you haven't been in front of before, not only through the Facebook post and the Twitter post, but the websites. We're like I said, we're right where we were last year, and we had both the Battle of the Jams and the ballot released at the same time. We split that up now, and we're right there. So it looks like, and we have all the confidence in the world that we're going to be bigger and better than last year. And you guys who are just the ones that have been really participating, you guys have just done an amazing job. Technically, our numbers are a little bit lower because of the Facebook posts, because we can't do the voting. We spoke about that on the last update of the Banger Music Awards. Facebook wouldn't allow us to use their poll to do the voting, and so we had to do it a different way. But our website, in exchange, is right where it's actually, it's above where I think we should be, because we're right at where we were last year. So I think we're all right there. And I guess I'm rambling on that. The point being is you guys are doing a great job. Now, the really big news. I don't know if you've seen the posts, if you've seen what's been going on, but we announced, we don't have all of them, but we announced the majority of our presenters that are going to be part of the Banger Music Awards. And the list is stellar. It's absolutely stellar. Headlining this year, our big name, Doug Aldrich of the Dead Daisies. You might know him from Whitesnake. I can't believe he's going to be part of this. He's going to be presenting the Guitar Hero Award. And what better way to do that? I mean, or what better person to award that than Doug Aldrich, one of the most badass guitar players of today. We also have more on the hometown front, and you can see I'm excited, so I'm tripping over my words, so I'll try to slow down a little bit. Legend here in Detroit, Doug Podell, has agreed to be the presenter for our Rockin' the D Award. That's the award for the best song by a Detroit band. It's really incredible. He's such a big name here in Detroit, and it's just an honor to have him on board. Just great. We also have a slew of presenters that are coming back from last year's. Candy Gunn from the Candy Gun Rock Show will be here. Lucy SD, she's going to be giving out an award. We've got Crystal K. Rockin' Sin from Elemental Metal Radio. They're going to be giving out the best metal song. We've got Martin Jones of UG Media. He'll be giving out an award. My friend Derek Shelmerdine, you remember Derek? He used to join us almost all the time, once a month, to talk about rock and roll. He's going to be, this will be his fourth, actually. He's right now the leader in appearances on the Banger Music Awards, and who better to do it? He's going to be, once again, doing the best music video. And the reason for that is Derek is he just paints a beautiful picture of what the video is about. And he's just a great guy. And if you haven't picked up his book, Rock and Roll Unraveled, do so, man. It's really cool. You're going to learn about things in rock and roll you never knew. And if you're a big rock and roll fan, that's the book that you want. We've got it here. We've got, Sabrina Falla, former winner, joining Susan Lennon from Vulcan Sound Radio. They're going to be giving out Best Song by Solo Artist, or presenting Best Song by Solo Artist. That's exciting. We have a bunch of other, the list is so long. Kevin Holly's going to be joining us for the Crank It Up Award. And Ricky Rocks from Rocks 100. He's going to be giving out, he's giving out I can't remember what award. So many awards, it's hard. I'm not a young guy anymore. Looks like we'll be picking up some sponsors here in the coming weeks. We've been in talks with that. If we can get enough money from the sponsorships, we're going to look into, I don't know if we're going to, because I already inquired, and it's expensive. And I don't know if we can do it. And I don't know if it's in the best interest of the bands to do this. So we're still calculating what we're going to do. We may just put out just more social media promotions, like real big blast, so everybody knows what's going on. We don't know yet. But if we get these sponsors, which we're hoping we get them, we're going to be able to do some pretty incredible stuff that'll boost the music awards tremendously. Last year we went with these kind of promotional little shirts and stuff. We don't know what we're doing with that yet. We're a little actually late in the game for that with the winner. We may do some other things like awards or something. Depends on how much sponsorships we're going to get. What else do we have? Oh, I haven't told you. If you haven't been paying attention, we skipped totally on the Battle of the Jams here. We're down to 10 bands right now. The winners of these matchups are all going to go to the Crank It Up Award, which will be given out by Kevin Holly. This will be his second time doing it. We've got some incredible musical entertainment for you already lined up. That's usually the last thing we sew in, get ready for it. I can't tell you who, because we're going to hit you with that one big boom. We're going to hit you with that. Now, anybody who wants to be a part of the Banger Music Awards and is not a band or part of their promotional teams or one of our radio affiliates or part of Pure Rock Radio, who's going to be carrying the Banger Music Awards, if you want to be part of it, maybe you want to write a review on the bands, maybe you just want to follow along and give us your little comments, how things are going. We'd be happy to have you on board because we can use the help. This is a lot of work, and if we can find ways to incorporate your skills, if you want to write reviews, maybe a column, anything that will get the word out on the Banger Music Awards so you can help all these bands out. We're asking you to join in and send us an email at jlebang@live.com. Address it to me, John. Say, hey, I'm a song reviewer. I can write a column for you. Maybe I just want to help in your promotions. What can we do to help? Please feel free to contact me. We'll get something going, because it's not only for the benefit of the Banger Music Awards, which is my baby, and it's grown so much in these 4 years. It's amazing it's 4 years. But this is how we celebrate indie rock and metal. This is how we grow everything together. And we need all of us to kind of lift these genres up a little bit, because the mainstream doesn't give it a whole lot of credence. And while we have bands like classic rock bands that are doing things right now, it might be a good time for all of us to kind of get behind these indie bands and really give them a push, because those classic bands aren't going to be around forever. AC/DC with their Power Up album, their singer's 73 years old. Angus is, I think, 67. We don't know how much longer they're going to be able to do this. So to keep rock and roll alive, we've got to be supporting this next group of indie rock and metal bands and giving them the lift, and maybe going around all the mainstream radio stations and record labels and really hitting home what indie rock and metal can be. Because this is a time that I wish I was younger in, that I could do the thing that I did back when I was trying to get the rock and roll career going. Because it's so much more easy to get out to thousands of people than it was back then. Thousands of people. Back then we had to have flyers, go car to car, people to people, talk to them face to face. And in many ways, that's a better way, because you get less ignored than you do on the social media, because you can send people all kinds of event requests and flyers and whatever, and it's just as easy to ignore them or delete them or get rid of them. But it cost way more money back in the day. The flyers cost money, gas to go places, time, all that. Well, now it's just a little bit of time, a lot of sharing on social media. And if you have somebody who is a little bit savvy about it, you can really do a great job at getting the word out. And I see a lot of these bands, especially when it relates to the Banger Music Awards, how they're lacking. I can see how they're lacking in getting the word out about their band, because they're not even doing it for the Music Awards, who's really helping them get the word out about themselves. So bands, if you're out there, and we're here to help promote you and this Music Awards, if you're in one of our categories, or if you're in the Battle of the Jams, or even if you're just in the Banger Music Hour, those are things that are supporting you at no charge to you. What we kind of expect in return is a share, a like. When you share, tell them why you're sharing. Hey, these guys are playing our tunes. I see it. You guys do that if Kerrang is playing your stuff, if one of the big stations are playing your stuff. But it's not those big stations that give a crap if you're promoting them. They don't care. They're already set. It might make you feel good. Hey, we're on Kerrang. Hey, we're on this. And yeah, it's great to be on those. But there are so many more of us little guys that are promoting you. And you should be putting the same effort behind it. And I mean it, all the presenters that are part of the Music Awards, all the stations that are affiliated with the Banger Music Hour, Pure Rock Radio, who's carrying the Banger Music Awards, if you're not liking their page at this moment and telling them thank you for all the support you're doing, thanks for having the Banger Music Hour on there, because we're getting our stuff out to people we wouldn't get anywhere else. We're in many stations, folks, and these stations don't have to play our show, and we don't have to play the tunes that are sent in. But you can see along the way how we're helping each other. And it needs to come back with you bands. And this is not all. A lot of bands are great about it. A lot of bands are awesome. But there's a few out there, and I don't even know if it's purposely done, because what I see is they just don't know how to promote at all properly to get people interested. And that's why their numbers stay stagnant or stay low and never increase. One thing we didn't talk about before we get out of here for this break: all the help and support you guys are doing for the Banger Music Awards, all the bands that are doing their job, pushing this, we are getting more likes than ever. And that's because of you guys. And I'm hoping in turn, you bands that are not only in a little competition between each other, but all the other bands that are just part of this, I'm hoping you guys take the time and don't just tell your listeners or your fans to vote for you. Tell them, check out all these other great bands, because that's what it's about. We're here to support each other. The Banger Music Awards is a celebration of indie rock and metal. And the only way we can celebrate is if all of us are participating and all of us are joining in on the celebration and lifting up each other. We've got to take another time out, folks. One more segment on the other side of this. Stay tuned.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
Because the John LeBang Show will be right back.
After this. That's guaranteed. Yes. Absolute Skin and Body Care, located in Livonia, Michigan. If you're in need of laser hair removal, skin care, laser tattoo removal, or laser hair regrowth, call Absolute Skin and Body Care. They're located at 37625 Ann Arbor Road, Suite 105 in Livonia, Michigan. Their phone number is 248-533-0448. Absolute Skin and Body Care. Give them a call. You're listening to the John LeBang Show. It's huge. Now I got to tweet about it.
All right. Welcome back, my friends. Thank you again for tuning in. In this segment, we're going to just talk about what's going to happen the rest of the year with the John LeBang Show, the Banger Music Awards, and such. This is our second to last show of the year. We're going to be having a show right before Thanksgiving on Wednesday on our normal time. That'll be like our Thanksgiving show for you. We'll touch on probably family stuff. I don't know what we're going to talk about just yet. But then we're going to take a small break like we always do. And you're going to hear all the Bangerverse stuff in between the next Sunday's show right up until the new year. You'll be hearing all Bangerverse. We'll give you a full list of the breakdown on the website, www.jlebang.com. Radio stations, this is also your warning to let you know what's happening here. As many of the stations know, we do this every year. We go into the Christmas season, and we have many things before us. On the Saturday, which is the 29th of November, we'll be having a special broadcast of the Banger Music Hour, where we will be unveiling the full Banger Music Awards nomination list. And then come the next day, or actually December 1st, we will have the ballot available for voting. During that period, you'll be getting, after that anyways, you'll be getting all best of Banger Music Hours. And again, on the John LeBang Show, you're going to be getting all of our Bangerverse stuff right up until the end of the year. And it'll actually go a little bit into the new year. And you can, again, stations, fans, listeners, just go to the website and check out the schedule there. We're hoping in that time we'll be able to pick back up on the Daily Brew a little bit. We've been lacking behind on that because of so much going on with the Banger Music Awards. Again, we're 3 weeks into it, and it feels like it just started, and it's just been at a breakneck pace trying to keep up with everything in the voting and the new ways we're doing things. And It's just been amazing. Over the coming weeks, we'll also are planning on doing an interview series, website and YouTube only, short interviews with bands, political people, all different stuff, things on a smaller scope so that we're not out of the loop completely. But this will not be affecting the radio stations at all. They're going to be they'll be having the Bangerverse stuff during the John Lebang show, and after next week it'll be best of Banger Music Hours, right? Best of 2020, that is. So they're really a collage of all the great songs. It's not like we're rehashing a specific hour. You're getting a hour you've never heard before with tracks you might have heard before, but now they're accompanied by different tracks, just like any other radio station would be programming. You just won't be getting any new stuff. We're actually saving some of the new stuff for, well, the Banger Music Awards, which is just going to be incredible. Like I said, we've got already a few that are just some absolute fabulous acts going to be at the Music Awards or playing. You'll be hearing their music. What else on the agenda? Keep tuned to the website. We'll also be changing things up for 2021. Those updates will be available in the coming weeks on the website. We haven't been asked yet to do the Alien X Radiothon, 36 hours of Alien Xmas. We haven't been asked to be a part of that yet, but I assume we will at some point. I mean, we're always asked last minute for some reason, although we've been a part of the station since, we're the longest running show on the station. You wait, I don't know why they wait the last minute, but whatever. I suspect we'll be asked to do that, and we'll want you to stop in and join on that. We've considered doing a fundraiser. We've talked about this before with the Banger Music Awards. If that is to occur, that'll probably be sometime in December. I can't say it's going to happen. We're still considering it, but there's so much going on that adding one more thing may be a little too much for the Banger to handle. We're hoping to get some R&R in during this little break as well to rejuvenate, to keep get ourselves more prepared for the coming pending new world that I'm sure is just about to be birthed, whether it be through the new year or other methods. All right, so I've been upbeat and positive as much as I can for the hour. I've tried to give you some perspective into what is happening with the Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump, all that thing going on there. Again, we got to let this stuff play out. The malpractice media is going to act like it's all a bunch of hogwash, and I don't necessarily think you should take any credence to that. It might be, because we don't know. It might be just a ploy, because right now, as I see it, both sides have set this up to be a very bad scenario when it comes to Inauguration Day and between now and then. If it's all a bunch of malarkey out of the Trump side of things, which I don't know. They say they have all these affidavits, and I can tell you what, if there was ever a lawyer I wanted to represent me and I could get to represent me, it wouldn't be Giuliani. I think it'd be Sidney Powell, because she's a beast. You don't want to mess with her. One little thing I did notice during the whole press conference, they looked really nervous, all of them, on the Trump side of things. Like they have some kind of, it's so big what they've got that exposing it is probably going to put their life at risk. And that's why so many things are coming to bear on them. Sidney Powell, when she was talking, you could tell there was nervousness there. Now, the people who are against Trump and his political position and his reelection are just going to say, oh, that's because they're hiding something, that's because they're lying and all that. I didn't see that. Giuliani was sweating profusely. And I think it was because the level of corruption that they're about to expose is going to shake the very foundations of this country, if not the world. This could be a worldwide, I don't know it. I have no idea. I don't want you to get your hopes up, ladies and gentlemen. I told you that in the last broadcast. You get your hopes up, you're setting yourself for a fall, and I fear that's what they want. They want one side to just fall on their face and be mad as hell and cause a ruckus, to where then they can use that reaction to bring in their ultimate solution to all of this. But because of how nervous they acted and how angry, and I forgot the name of the other lawyer that they have. She was their like chief counsel. Man, I forgot her name, but she was tough. She was tough. And she gave the what fors to the media. I think they have something, and it's so deep. And I don't think it's going to be easy for them to expose, because the media is against them, the political parties, and I'm talking both Republican and Democrat, they even made that clear, that there was both parties were involved in the corruption. The judges are on it. Businesses are in on it. World leaders might be in on it. This corruption, if it's ever exposed or allowed to be exposed, which, dear Lord, I don't think it's gonna be easy, folks. We're gonna hear of somebody being offed real soon. That's what I think. We're gonna be hearing about somebody's office being torched or ransacked. Wherever these documents, wherever they've got these things, they better be hidden, and they better be surrounded by loyal military at this point. Because if it's as bad as they're letting on, and of course the media is ignoring it, everybody's ignoring it except the American people who feel ripped off. Don't let them manipulate you, folks. Because this could be just a ploy. Just a ploy. We don't know. We got to let this stuff play out. Watch what happens. Keep preparing. Keep getting yourself ready for whatever eventuality, because day by day, the more this drags out, the larger the variety of things we need to prepare for will be right in our face. And we better be ready to shift and transition into whatever we need. Because I don't think it's gonna settle into something nice. If this goes to court, if it does what I think it possibly could do, if everything is on the up and up, then we're looking at an upheaval of corruption of such enormous proportions that it's all going to burn it down on the way down. We're going to have a scorched earth if they're about to be caught. If the deep state is about to be exposed, the scorched earth theory should look into that. They're going to send mobs out. They're going to terrorize people. It's going to get ugly. And if Biden somehow manages to get into the White House, they're going to go after the other side. And that other side's going to have to realize real quick that they better be protecting themselves, or else they're going to be in deep, deep trouble. That's right, folks. Thank you again for joining me for this hour. Don't forget to tune in to our last broadcast of the year. That'll be on Wednesday. We'll give you a little bit of Thanksgiving cheer, some passing thoughts on the year, and then who knows what else. Go to our website if you need to find out anything about the upcoming schedule. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, thank you I'll see you next time. I'm John Lebang, signing off from the Banger Studios.
3, 2, 1.